Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. My name is Joseph Gatunguta, and I will be interviewing Sky Half about her education and how it has inspired her to become a teacher. Welcome, Sky. So please tell us where you grew up and what it was like in your elementary school.
Hey, thanks. You're too kind. I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky. When I say Owensboro, that's just the nearest point of reference. I'm really from Davis County because I didn't live in the city. I lived out in the county. And I went to Davis County Public Schools. And so for elementary school, I went to Country Heights Elementary School, which was in my neighborhood. So I was one of those cool kids that could walk to school, and my dad would watch he would walk down the street with us and then just watch us go in. And so that was the situation for elementary school. And I have one older sister, and her name is Park. And so we went to school for quite a while until she went to middle school. But really, elementary school was pretty chill. I think that my my school didn't really do a great job of teaching, but we would play lots of games and we had lots of recess time. We had at least an hour every day, and then after testing, we would have 2 or 3 hours. So I know that I learned a lot about Kentucky and the culture. We had things like Native American Day and Pioneer Day. So I learned a lot about people and Kentucky and where I was from. But as much as content, it wasn't very strict. And so I feel like I wasn't challenged very much, maybe as I could have been. And so I was kind of your classic lazy student.
Tell us, Sky, what is it like being the youngest in the family?
In EDC 362, we watched a video called The Danger of One Story. And it was a TED Talk just about how there are many different situations, many different scenarios and experiences. And I feel like that's really important to know about being the youngest child. I feel like we tend to just tell one story when it comes to being the youngest child. There's one type of family and one type of experience being the youngest child. Um, I really enjoy being the youngest child, and I really like that my sister goes first, and so I learn from all of her mistakes, and I try to take everything in and take good notes. Now, we're wildly different people. She's like your straight A 4.0 student, and I'm more of an AB student. Historically, I've gotten a little bit better. And so filling in her shoes is pretty because she's just so good. And I've had teachers that had her, 2 years before me. And they would say, well, your sister like made hundreds on everything. Like, why are you struggling? Like, is something wrong? I'm like, no, nothing's wrong. It's just me. Like, I'm not her. And so at first I was a little bit maybe like jealous of that. But then I just learned that I'm my own person and we have different personalities and we have different ways of doing everything. And so then I just started to learn from it. And it actually works really well because what I'm good at, she's not good at. And then what she's good at, I'm not good at. So we make a really good team. But being the youngest in the family, you learn a lot about always being told what to do. And everyone is always telling you what to do. But then at the same time, I feel like when I go through big changes second, it's not as much of a big deal. Like when my sister started driving, it was like, oh, this is a really big deal. And then when she got her intermediate, like I was always in the car with her when she was driving. And then the day that I get my intermediate, like I'm just home by myself and I'm just driving away by myself and nobody's really there to hoop and holler at me. So you get used to that too. But then I do get a lot of attention and people like to do things for me. And so it is nice knowing that when you're the baby of the family, then family's always wondering if I'm, doing okay, and they always check on me a little more than with my older sister. And I do really like that. But I really milk it sometimes.
We understand that being the youngest can be challenging. Was high school challenging to you, Sky? What were your best and worst moments of high school?
So my best and worst moments of high school. High school was challenging. And I definitely think that my high school did prepare me for college, because I got to college and I came in with 44 credits. And although I took AP classes, I didn't take the exams. And so all of those credits were through the community college. So I did have a lot of academic preparation and also academic simulation of college. And so that really helped. I think my best moments of high school, definitely freshman and senior year. Those were just the best times for me. Because I think my sophomore year I had hip surgery. Having hip surgery required me to miss about 7 weeks of school. So I feel like I didn't, even though I had homebound assistants for like homework and assignments and stuff for my classes, I feel like I didn't actually do any of it because my sister did all of my math homework, and I did do my English homework, and then my dad and my mom did my art projects. So after that, I just got really behind, and I just started kind of having a bad attitude, and I was just really done with school. And as I said before, I was just kind of lazy. So that was definitely my worst moments of high school. My best moments of high school were probably my senior year when I applied for my scholarship program, which is to be a student athletic trainer here at UK. And it has been the best job, the best experience ever. And I know that what I did in high school prepared me to do what I do now here at UK. And then I'm taking what I'm doing with student training and I'm turning it into a career, not in athletic training, but in education. So I feel like I got a little off topic on the question. But yes, high school, I had a great high school. I had, some of my favorite teachers were Dr. Gunner. She was my English teacher. Miss Payne, she was also my English teacher. And Mr. Goodrid was a history teacher. And it was very challenging. I actually hated really every subject in high school until about the time of my senior year. I loved English and I loved history. So it did come up a little bit after having hip surgery. But it definitely makes sense that I chose English education.
So tell us, Sky, how did you decide you wanted to become a teacher?
I have really been a teacher since I was in kindergarten. I tell this story quite a bit, not as much as my grandma, but when I was in kindergarten, I would take home my worksheets and I would bring them to my grandpa and I would teach him how to read. And I think I knew that he could read, but I still remember feeling like, wow, he can read one of his card books now. And to just think back on those memories of, just really like I've wanted to be a teacher basically my whole life. And I've tried to find other things that I wanted to do, but nothing really fit with me because I like to talk and I like to have relationships with people. So if you type that into Google, that says teacher. But as Stephen Walk said in the Hearts and Minds article that we read in EDC 362, teacher-student relationships permeate the classroom, with relationships both helping and hindering learning. For most teachers, their relationships are their teaching. I really like this article because for me, like that's what it's all about, is the relationships. I love to get to know a group of young people and just spend the year with them and see what they're about, see why they are the way that they are, and to learn from them as much as I am hopefully going to teach them. That is definitely something that I do in my job now. I switch sports every year and I get a new team, a new set of athletes to learn from and learn about, and we are just there for each other every day. So I think for me, it's not like, oh, I want to be a teacher because I want to see like the light bulb, the light bulb moment. I just always want to have fun and be around exciting people and be doing something. I don't want to have that desk job. And I think that teaching is something that is grueling but exciting and hard but rewarding. And another quote from the article, I Won't Learn From You, I Won't Learn From You, by Herbert Cole. He says, until we learn to distinguish not learning from failure and respect the truth behind this massive rejection of schooling by students from poor and oppressed communities, it will not be possible to solve the major problems of education in the United States today. And I love to think about what American education is. And it's just vastly different from any other country. And that's because we are like for the kids and we teach kids. And so this makes me very excited to teach. It's also a little scary, but a lot of things in life are scary. I know that I won't be alone in the room, that I will have students and we will work through the school year together. And so I think those are some of the main reasons why I want to be a teacher. But also my mom was a teacher, and I think I may be biased, but I just think she's just the most amazing teacher. She has one of the best hearts I've ever seen. She teaches elementary school. She's on her 27th year this year, and she's still going to continue on. And so that's just really exciting to me, and I really want to participate in that legacy.
Was it strange going into high school to do fieldwork, or did you feel like you were just there?
I absolutely loved my practicum placement. I got really lucky to get Amanda Holt, Miss Holt at Dunbar. And, going into high school, I wasn't really, scared or nervous or like, oh, this is weird because I was just in high school. I was just really glad I wasn't one of the students. I was very shocked that I think that Lexington schools are a little bit behind of some school systems as far as school safety, school policies, and expectations and technology from the school district that I came from. But I did get used to the culture, and a lot of things I liked better than Davis County High School, where I went, and a lot of things I preferred the way that I had experienced it. So, no, it wasn't weird. It felt like I really fit in there, and I really loved the kids, and I actually really wish that I had more time to spend there because I want to see where these kids are going because they're juniors. I'm like, I gotta follow your entire high school career now because it just made me so excited. I got to see students who were, the very top of the school. They were in the STEAM program. And I also saw some kids who they were the main source of their family's income at, 16 or 17 or 18. So I saw a lot. And I definitely loved getting to meet people who aren't like me. That's probably one of my favorite things. So I really loved the experience.
Is there anything Sky have you would like to add?
I would like to close this interview with just a little bit to think about how much teachers are a part of social change and how we are cultivating the future citizens. And from the article, Education and Social Change by John L. Rury, that's a very hard word to say if you're from Kentucky, he says, when there is a pattern of new attitudes and behaviors that develop with the young, one can speak of cultural change. And I think that is what I'm trying to do. And that will be something that I will try to implement in my classroom as I'm thinking about, what's the culture of the students? And consequently, how am I growing successful adults? So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Joseph Gatuguta signing off.